Hi, welcome to the Devon Performing Arts Center Spring 2021 Voice Recital. I am Dr. Bethany Reeves, and I am very grateful to you all for tuning in. And I would like to extend a special thanks to the singers on this program who have soldiered on despite very challenging pandemic circumstances, which have made it virtually impossible for some of them to really practice. Or at least not very often. We've been doing voice lessons over Zoom, though I recommend using Clean Feed for the audio much better. With the delays and all of the things, and they have just soldiered on nonetheless, regardless. I'd also just like to give a shout out to all the other singers and musicians at Stevens who have also soldiered on, who you won't be hearing this for this in this performance. There's lots of people who have managed to make music and particularly singing part of their college year, regardless of all of the many limitations of necessity imposed upon what we all love to do. So my thanks to all of them, also to my colleagues, particularly Carl Russell for handling all of the tech here, and to pianist David Zimmerman, who is handling many of the Broadway pieces on this program, and James Redkay, who has taken, I think, just about all of the classical pieces. If I don't mention a pianist, then we went with karaoke. I guess I should also say thank you to everyone who's ever uploaded a karaoke accompaniment video to YouTube, because while I had never used them before this year, I certainly did use them this year, and they were very helpful. So thank you. Thank you to everyone. Our first piece is being sung by a particularly wonderful young woman, Jennifer Searing, who is currently a senior and yet will be at Stevens, I'm very happy to say, for one more year in a master's program. David Zimmerman is at the piano, and she is singing a beautiful song from the 1957 Tony Award-winning musical, The Music Man. She is singing Till There Was You, which is Marion's song to Professor Howard Hill when she realizes that despite all his faults, he brings color and magic into everybody's life, and she loves him.
is love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all till there was you.
Our next song is a German art song, Elite, called Ständchen by Franz Schubert. Schubert wrote over 600 Lieder in his short life, and among them are several serenades. This one, with poetry by Rellstab, is not just a light love song sung under a loved one's window at dusk, like many serenades. The setting is quite late at night, and the singer urges his lover not just to listen, but to come on outside to his waiting arms. Max Kuhl is our singer, and James Redkay is at the piano.
Leise flehen meine Lieder durch die Nacht zu dir. In den stillen Hain nieder, Liebchen, komm zu mir. Flusten schlanke Wipfel rauschen in des Mondes Licht, in des Mondes Licht. Des Verräters feindlich lauschen wirkt der Holte nicht, wirkt der Holte nicht. Hörst die Nachtigallen schlagen, ach, sie flehen dich. In der Tanne Susens Klagen flehen sie für mich. Sie verstehen des Bussens Sehnen, kennen Liebesschmerz, kennen Liebesschmerz. Rühren mit den Silbertönen jedes weiche Herz, jedes weiche Herz. Lass, sagt dir, die Brust bewegen, Liebchen, höre mich, lebenhaarig dir entgegen. Komm, beglücke mich, komm, beglücke mich, beglücke mich.
Our next piece is Se tu mami by Alessandro Parasotti. It will be sung for us by freshman Stacy Shang and played by James Redkay. The translation goes roughly like this. It's a young woman who has just been told by a young man that he really likes her. And she says, I am so delighted to hear that. That is so sweet. But if you really think that your affections mean I'm going to ignore all the other boys, well, you're deceiving yourself. I'm just not going to be like the lads that I have seen who choose a pretty girl and ignore everybody else, but then dumps her the minute she turns out to be anything less than perfect. Instead, I'm going to smile on all my admirers equally. Okay? Good. So that is her philosophy on love, and freshman Stacy Shang will tell us about it.
Se tu m'ami, se tu sospiri su per me, gentil pastor, o dolor di tuoi martiri, o diletto del tuo amor, ma se pensi che soletto io ti debba riamar, pastorello sei soggetto facilmente ad ingannar, pastorello sei soggetto facilmente ad ingannar, facilmente ad ingannar. Bella rosa purpurina, oggi Silvio sceglierà, con la scusa della spina, doman poi la sprezzerà, doman poi la sprezzerà. Ma degli uomini il consiglio io per me non seguirò, non perché mi piace genio, gli altri fiori sprezzerò. Se tu m'ami, se tu sospiri su per me, gentil pastor, o dolor de tuoi martiri, o diletto del tuo amor, ma se pensi che soletto io ti debba riamar, pastorello sei soggetto facilmente ad ingannar, pastorello sei soggetto facilmente ad ingannar, facilmente ad ingannar.
Our next song is by French composer Claude Debussy. It's one of his early songs, Bonsoir, which means beautiful evening. The poem essentially says, Carpe diem, seize the moment. See and savor the beauty of the evening and of everything else around you, for as sure as the river ends by flowing into the sea, we too shall end someday. James Redkay is at the piano and Sean Willimon, baritone, will sing it for us.
Lorsqu'au soleil couchant, les
next song is actually from a film, an Italian film called Mondocane of 1962. It is a love song, and I must say, and if anybody is looking for a different kind of song, something that hasn't been heard recently, but that is perfect for a wedding. This is terrific for a wedding in both Italian and English. Um, Daniel Caesar is going to sing it for us in Italian. The words essentially say that his love for the one that he loves is greater than any love the world has ever known and will last forever. James Redkay is at the piano.
Se tu mi guardi in fondo al cuore, vedrai un nome scritto con le nuvole che ombre disegnano di favola con la magia d'un incantesimo, e se quel nome leggerai una voce sentirai, la mia voce ti dice t'amo, 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 sulle parole che si spengono cadono mille note tenere, e per la mia felicità, per la tua felicità, questo incanto resterà.
In our next song, we go back to the world of German lieder. Sonntag, which means Sunday, is one of Brahms's settings of German folk poetry. So it's his music, but a folk poem. And in the song, a young man yearns to see the girl that he loves because it's been a whole week since he last saw her, which was on a Sunday at church. James Redkay is at the piano, and our singer is David Staronka.
So hab ich doch die ganze Woche mein feines Liebchen nicht gesehen. Ich sah es an einem Sonntag, wo vor der Türe steht, das tausendschöner Jungfräulein, das tausendschöner Herzelein, wollte Gott, ich wär heut bei ihr. Wollte Gott, ich wär heut bei ihr. So will mir doch die ganze Woche das Lachen nicht vergehen. Ich sah es an einem Sonntag, wohl in die Kirche gehen, das tausendschöner Jungfräulein, das tausendschöner Herzelein, heute bei ihr.
Our next song is from Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera. This is Christine's first song. She is our heroine. And it's actually within a play within a play where she is getting her big chance to move from being an understudy to being a leading lady. Think of Me, with David Zimmerman at the piano and Julia Wiersbicki singing for us.
Think of me fondly when we've said goodbye. Remember me once in a while, please promise me you'll try. On that day, that not so distant day, when you're far away and free, if you ever find a moment, spare a thought for me. And though it's clear, though it was always clear, that this was never meant to be, if you ever find a moment, stop and think of me. Think of August when the trees were green. Don't think about the way things might have been. Think of me waking silent and resigned. Imagine me trying too hard to put you from my mind. Think of me, please say you'll think of me, whatever else you choose to do. There will never be a day when I won't think of you. Flowers fade, the fruits of summer fade, they're all the seasons, so do we. But if you can still remember, stop and think.
Our next piece is another serenade, and it's once again with Max Cool, the tenor, and James Redkay, the pianist. This is La Serenata by Tosti, a very, very popular composer for tenors. This serenade is a lighthearted wish that one's song will fly to the lover and waft around her pillows as she sleeps.
Oh serenata, la mia diletta è sola, e con la bella testa abbandonata posa tra le lenzuola. Oh serenata vola, oh serenata vola, splende pura la luna, il silenzio stende, e dietro veli della ma sorridendo anche a mezzo sonata, torna fra le lenzuola. Oh, serenata vola, oh, serenata vola, l'onda sogna sul nido, e il vento sulla fronda, e a baci miei cosa ancora al nido, la mia signora bionda. Sogna sul lido l'onda, sogna sul lido l'onda, vola o serenata, vola serenata, vola.
Our next piece is Plaisir d'amour by Jean-Paul Martini, a composer roughly contemporaneous with Mozart. The essential sentiment here is that love is wonderful while it lasts, but it doesn't last. The music suggests the philosophical, oh, well, c'est la vie, found sort of attitude towards love and other things found in many songs in the French song literature. Daniel Caesar is our singer, and James Redkay is at the piano.
Plaisir d'amour ne dure qu'un moment, chagrin d'amour dure toute la vie. J'ai tout quitté pour l'ingrate Sylvie. Elle me quitte et prend dans notre main. Plaisir d'amour ne dure qu'un moment, chagrin d'amour dure toute la vie. Tant que cette eau coulera doucement vers ce ruisseau qui borde la prairie, je t'aimerai, me répétait Sylvie, l'eau coule encore, elle a changé pourtant. Plaisir d'amour ne dure qu'un moment, chagrin d'amour dure toute la vie.
For our next song, we return to Broadway, and David Zimmerman returns to the piano. This will be Abby Hulse singing I Don't Need a Roof from Big Fish. Big Fish is a big-hearted musical with antecedents in film and literature. In this song, Sandra, the wife of the Big Fish himself, comforts him in a crisis.
In your face, I see a lifetime. In this place, I feel at ease. Wallpaper peeling, paint wearing thin. Here's where I end and begin. I don't need a roof to say I'm covered. I don't need a roof to know I'm home. There could be a single shingle dangling overhead. I don't need a roof to make my bed. Close your eyes, I'm still beside you. No goodbyes needed today. Hear what the rain says, know what it knows. After the rain, something grows. I don't need a roof to say I love you. I don't need a roof to call you mine. I don't need adventure in some faraway frontier. I don't need a roof to feel you near. All I need is you and you forever. All I feel is true and absolute. I don't need a legality to help me play my part. I don't need a roof to hold my heart. Stay with me. Stay with me.
Our next song is from Sunset Boulevard by Andrew Lloyd Webber. In this song, Max sings about his devotion for the faded film star of the silent era that he works for. He also was her first husband. It is 20, 30 years after, longer than that, maybe, after the era of silent film. She did not make the leap to the talkies. And she's quite a faded and slightly scary character, but he is devoted to her. Derek Petty is singing for us, The Greatest Star of All.
said Hollywood, hers was the face you'd think of, her face on every billboard. In just a single week, she'd get 10,000 letters. Men would offer fortunes for a bloom from her corsage, or a few strands from her hair. Today, she's half forgotten, but it's the pictures that got small. She is the greatest star of all. Then you can't imagine the wave and sacrificed themselves to touch her shadow. There was a Maharaja who hanged himself with one of her discarded stockings. She's immortal, caught inside that flickering light beam is a youth which cannot fade. Madame's a living legend. I've seen so many idols fall. She is the greatest star of all.
It's very possible our next song needs no introduction. Dana McGuire will be singing Let It Go for us from Frozen with Dave Zimmerman at the piano. So in case you do need an introduction, Frozen is a Disney film, a hit Disney film from 2013, animated. And in it, Elsa, who is a sort of stand-in for the old idea of the Snow Queen, but a much nicer person. Elsa has magical powers that she's been trying desperately to hide, and she can't hide it anymore. Let it go.
The snow glows white on the mountain night, not a footprint to be seen. A kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in, heaven knows I tried. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. Funny how some distance makes everything seem small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go, let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry. Here I stand, and here I'll stay. Let the storm rage on. My power flurries through the air into the ground. My soul is spiraling in frozen fractals all around. And one thought crystallizes like an icy blast. I'm never going back. The past is in the past. Let it go, let it go. Then I'll rise like the break of dawn. Let it go, let it go. The perfect girl is gone. Here I stand, the light of day. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway.
We go to the world of opera for the first time today for the next piece. I Capuleti e i Montecchi by Bellini is a reworking of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. And Abby Hulse, with James Redkay at the piano, is going to sing for us Juliet's very sad aria, O quante volte. She is alone. She is dressed up in wedding finery. She is going to be forced to marry someone she doesn't want to marry for the sake of a family alliance. And she is wondering where on earth Romeo can be. And in despair, she notes that every breeze feels like it could be his breath. Abby Hulse, soprano.
Eccomi
From opera, we move to the world of operetta, specifically Gilbert and Sullivan, which nowadays tends to come off as being just silly, but in its own time, at the turn of the last century, was silly and also frequently very sharp satire. Uh, our piece at the moment is from The Mikado of 1883, and in it, the lead character of the piece, a wandering minstrel, introduces himself with "A Wandering Minstrel I." Joshua Rene is singing it for us.
A wandering minstrel I, a thing of shreds and patches, of ballads, songs, and snatches, a dreamy lullaby. My catalog is long through every passion ranging, and to your humours changing, I tune my supple song, I tune my supple song. Are you in sentimental mood? I'll sigh with you. Oh, sorrow, on maiden's coldness to you brood, I'll do so too. Oh, sorrow, sorrow, I'll charm your willing ears with songs of lovers' fears, while sympathetic tears my cheeks bedew. Oh, sorrow, sorrow. But if patriotic sentiment is wanted, I've patriotic ballads cut and dried, for where'er a country banner may be planted, all other local banners are defied. Our warriors in serried ranks assembled, never quail though they conceal it if they do. And I shouldn't be surprised if nations trembled before the mighty troops, the troops of And if you call for a song of the sea, we'll heave the capstan round, with a yo-heave-ho, for the wind is free, our anchors a-trip and our helms a-lee, and off for the homeward bound. To lay our laughter and hailing breeze may tickle a landsman's taste, but the happiest hour a sailor sees is when he's down at an inland town with his Nancy on his knees. Yo-ho! And his arm around her waist. A thing of shreds and patches, of ballads, songs, and snatches, a dreamy lullaby, a dreamy lullaby. Lullaby.
In our next song, we also hear a lot about a character. This is Almost Real from The Bridges of Madison County by Jason Robert Brown, sung by Dana McGuire. And in it, the character Francesca tells the story of her youth in World War II era Italy and how she came to America.
When a girl grows up in Napoli, there are roads laid out before her, and you understand I'm speaking of the times before the war. When a girl grows up in Napoli, she is more or less a target for her mama's expectations, for the boys' infatuations. All she gets is one decision: will she give them what they want? My sister Kiara wore tight-fitting sweaters, unbuttoned just so. Kiara would squeeze every drop of attention wherever she'd go. Kiara said, "Cheska, you must be prepared." Kiara would act as though nobody cared. Kiara would laugh at me, quiet and scared. And I dreamed of a flat in Siena on the market square, with a book and a pot and a window and a single chair. Far from lonesome, far from Chiara, almost real. Paolo was a boy from down the hill, with silver eyes and hair like coal, and massive hands that trembled when he looked my way. Paolo was a boy who loved to swim, and who knows why I fell for him, but soon enough I kissed him on a winter's day. Chiara said, "Cheska, he's dull and he's dumb. You'll end up a farm wife, exhausted and numb. I'm off to the servicemen's club, you should come." But I dreamed of the beach at Ancona, where our kids would play. Paolo right by my side, and the ocean only steps away. Close to heaven, far from Chiara, almost real. Chiara went dancing while air raid sirens were shrieking. Chiara would open her legs just as easy as speaking. Paolo went off with the army and never returned. And all that Chiara could say was, "I hope now you learned." And the streets were rubble, and the water was filthy, and there were no cigarettes, and no haircuts, and no thinking about the future. And I sat at the harbor, watching the American ships, and then I and I saw an American smile down at me, and I knew if I just took his hand I could at last be free. I could love him, I could want him, only take me from Natalia, from Yara, far enough that I could feel almost real.
Our final song is Vanilla Ice Cream from the 1963 musical by Bach and Harnick, She Loves Me. This story has been told a number of times, most recently in a 1998 movie with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. It's about a couple of pen pals who really like each other. It's like a romance, pen pal romance. But unbeknownst to either of them, they actually know each other in real life and don't get along. So you can imagine where the plot goes from there. Abby Hulse will sing Vanilla Ice Cream for us with David Zimmerman at the piano.
Dear friend, I am so sorry about last night. It was a nightmare in every way. But together, you and I will laugh at last night someday. Ice cream. He bought me ice cream, vanilla ice cream. Imagine that, ice cream. And for the first time, we were together without a spat. Friendly, he was so friendly. That isn't like him. I'm simply stunned. Will wonders never cease? Will wonders never cease? It's been a most peculiar day. Will wonders never cease? Will wonders never cease? Oh, where was I? I am so sorry about last night. It was a nightmare in every way, but together you and I will laugh at last night someday. I sat there waiting in that cafe and never guessing that you were fat, that you were near. You were outside looking bald. Oh my dear friend, I am so sorry about last night. Last night, I was so nasty. Well, he deserved it, but even so, that George is not like this George. This is a new George that I don't know. Somehow, it all reminds me of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. For right before my eyes, a man that I despise has turned into a man I like. It's almost like a dream, and strange as it may seem, he came to offer me vanilla ice cream.
Thank you all again so much for coming. Thank you to the singers for singing and to a number of the singers for doing some of the sound editing and mixing. Very helpful. And thank you to the pianists and to the karaoke world. I hope that the next time we give a recital will be in fall of 2021 and that it will be in person. In the meantime, be well, everyone, and thank you again. Signing off from Devon Performing Arts Center.